White Russia, alternatively known as White Rus or White Ruthenia, is an archaism for the eastern part of present-day Belarus, including the cities of Polotsk, Vitebsk, and Mogilev. Name: Ruthenia is the Latinized version of Rus, a region in Eastern Europe inhabited by Slavs and the cradle of Kievan Rus, a 9th to 12th century state that existed in the territories of modern-day Belarus, Ukraine, Russia and eastern Poland. In English, the use of the term White Russia to refer to all of Belarus is obsolete. Many other languages, however, continue to use a literal translation of White Russia to refer to Belarus. Belarus translates to White Russia in many modern languages. In the German language, the usual name for the state of Belarus even today is Weißrussland. In official use, the name Belarus is often preferred. However, even the German Chancellor Angela Merkel used the term Weißrussland in her speech to the European Council summit in March 2007. Likewise, Belarus is normally translated as White Russia into a number of other languages, including Dutch, Greek, Chinese, Turkish, and the Scandinavian, Baltic, and Uralic language families. In French, most people still use the word Belarusi to describe the country now known as Belarus, and Belarus to describe its people. The term White Russians in its specific political sense is a 20th century development, and entirely unrelated to the far older use of White Russia as a name for Belarus. History. Many other variants of this name appeared in ancient maps. For instance, Russia Alba, Russia Alba, White Rusland, Vice Russen, White Russia, Hviterisland, Hvita Rusland, Vice Rusland, Ruthenia Alba, Ruthenia Blanche and Vice Ruthenia assigned to various territories often quite distant from that of present Belarus. For example, at one time the term was applied to Novgorod. The 16th century chronicler Guanini book Sarmatia e Europea description popular in Europe, but in fact plagiarized from Maciej Strykovsky, wrote that Rus was divided in 3 parts. The first part, under the rule of the Muscovite Grand Duke, was called White Russia. The second one, under the rule of Polish King, was called Black Russia, and the rest was Red Russia. He also said Moscow was the center of White Russia and Russian Metropolitanate, and that Grand Duke of Moscow was called the White Tsar, especially by his subjects. Only by the late 16th century did it become a name for the area of the present Belarus. The origins of the name, which is attested from the 14th century, are unclear. Vasmer's dictionary mentions the dichotomy of white land and tax land in Domostroy and speculates that White Russia may have referred to the parts of Russia that were not subject to Tatar rule. Another speculation in Vasmer is that the color of the clothes of the White Russians may have contributed to the name. Oleg Trubachev calls both theories complete fantasies. Some other Slavic people have been distinguished by color. There have been, for example, white, red and black Croats. Black Croats resided beyond the River Don, white Serbs in today's East Germany. There is also a region historically known as Black Ruthenia. It covers northwestern lands of modern-day Belarus, Rodno, Slonim, Novorudok, Vorkovisk and partly Minsk region. Yet another theory is that the name may have had its origins in the efforts made by Russia's Tsars to distinguish themselves from the predecessors. In Rome and Byzantium, the Rerum Moscoviticarum commentary by Sigismund von Herberstein explains that the Muscovite rulers wore white robes to distinguish themselves from the purple of the Roman rulers and the red of the Byzantines. The Russian Tsar was thus called the White Tsar. Sunki Principi Moscovuia album regim nuncupant, ego quidem causum diligentaquerabam, ca regis albi nomine appellerator, or vice reusen oder vicen Könignenen etlichen nd wollen damit ein Unterschied der Reusen machen. The Tsar himself was often called the Great White Tsar, while he included among his official titles the style, the Sovereign of all Rus, the Great, the Little, and the White. This appellation, together with the solemn wording White Tsardom, was in use till the very end of the Russian Empire. Ultimately, this color was transferred onto the name of the counter-revolutionary White Army that fought against the Red Army. Bibliography